Hello viewers, this is another evening and another show on Time with your Banker and Financial Advisor, sponsored by Securities and Exchange Commission, Dole Yogurt and Paradise Water. We're taking some few commercials. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
What a new way to cool off and quench your thirst.
Wow.
And now everyone is enjoying the surprising experience of Paradise Pack treated drinking water.
Hi.
Join the refreshing experience and enjoy the all-new Paradise Pack treated drinking water. Paradise Pack treated drinking water. Drink pure, live more. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
Welcome back, viewers. This evening, we have another distinguished guest. He's by name Mr. Emmanuel Ashon Katai, Head of Policy, Research and Information Technology at Securities and Exchange Commission. Mr. Ashon Katai, you are welcome.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Welcome.
Thank you.
The last time we had the Director General, and he spoke at length about Securities and Exchange Commission, the inception. He spoke about the 4 regulatory bodies, that is the insurance, the pensions, Bank of Ghana, and SEC. Ghanaians not understand, but they have some knowledge about what Bank of Ghana does actually. But Securities and Exchange, nobody really knows what goes on there until the Director General came and threw some light on it. He talked about the derivatives, the market operations, and then your inception, the act that governs you, that's the Act 929, and how you started with Act 333 from the PNDC law and got to the Act 929 from 2016, and that is what is governing your activities now. And then we spoke about other areas that one would not presume SEC as having a hand into those affairs, especially issues concerning the public sector. He discussed and told us that so far as a company is a public company, a public liability company, then every activity they does must be supervised by the Securities and Exchange Commission. So you can't have a public company and take monies from the public without you being regulated by Securities and Exchange Commission, if I'm right from what I derived from our discussions. Today I want us to top up and then go further to talk about how you really started, because we were there and all of a sudden Securities and Exchange Commission, and you've been silent all these years. So your 20th year, and you before we are even hearing about you, though you have laid down you in a subtle way, you are regulating and you are doing your job. I want you to take it up from where the Director General left off.
All right. Thank you very much for this opportunity. I think the fact is that Ghanaians themselves do not know what we do because we've been very silent.
Yes.
But our silence doesn't mean that we've not been working.
For that I know.
We've been working very hard.
Yeah.
The fact is that, as you rightly said, or the Director General rightly said here, that the financial system, or the financial market in Ghana is divided into 4 parts, and each is supposed to play a distinct role for the sake of the entire economy. We have the Bank of Ghana, or the money market, supervised by the central bank. We all know that banks have been here for over 100 years in Ghana.
Yeah.
Insurance too has been here for almost 100 years. They followed the bankers. You know, during the colonial period, they came along with their goods and other things. And then some of the insurance firms followed them, like Northern Assurance and other firms based in the UK followed them here. Pensions too started during the time of the colonial period, but it was in 1962 that Nkrumah set up SIC, and then came SNIT.
Yeah.
The SIC started insuring life, and then pension also came through SNIT. But all along, there is a segment of the financial system that ought to have been in place long ago, and that is what we call the capital market. And the Bank of Ghana regulates the banks.
That's the money market.
And the Bank of Ghana regulates the money market. It's the remit of the central bank.
Yeah.
And the money market is a market that has a duration of 12 months, 1 year. It's about funds, money, that is mobilized and given out as loans. And that duration is for 12 months, for a year.
For a year, but sometimes it's the...
Sometimes, that is if they have...
Extends.
Sometimes it extends depending on the nature of the funding that comes. Because
but technically, it should be short-term.
It's short-term. And those monies are deposits. It belongs to depositors.
Yes.
And depositors can always go for their money at any time.
And that's what I keep saying, that
Yes.
the banks are owned by the depositors.
Exactly. And because depositors can go for that funds at any time, it is always dangerous to lend this money long-term.
To lend long-term.
It doesn't work that way in any economy. It doesn't
must
work
be
that
lent
way in any
short.
economy. Short. That is why we don't even have proper mortgage finance in the economy.
Because that is a long-term investment.
A long-term investment. How
Yeah.
can you mobilize deposits, which is supposed to be 12 months, to
For-
give to
yes.
somebody to own a house for 10,
15,
20, 30 years?
Yes, that
like we
is
have in
mismatch.
Europe. As a mismatch.
You take
Yeah.
short-term funds
Yeah,
and then
for
you extend
long
it
term.
for long
And it's
term.
not only for the mortgage. Even entrepreneurs, they want to set up factories. They go for bank loans to set up factories.
And
it
this
doesn't work that
these
way
monies has no time.
at all.
And
and the
it should be
interest
something
payments,
that should be rotating.
Exactly.
So after they've gotten their money to set up,
Yeah.
they should go for short loans for maybe
It's for working capital.
Yeah.
Those is for working capital, not for development.
Yeah.
The same thing applies to even government. They borrow short term to develop projects. It doesn't work that way. So you see that the economy is not going the way it ought to go because we don't have the right type of capital to help us develop long term.
The bank's money should be lent short term,
Short
and
term.
it should be for working capital.
For working capital. So the need for the development of a capital market became very necessary for Ghana. When you look at Europe, America, and the rest, they developed the capital market very early. And the reason why the Europeans were able to colonize the whole world, especially the English, was that they developed a form of capital market. They had a lot of companies that came here to buy things, And when you go to London, as we speak now, where London Stock Exchange is located, it used to be a coffee house. So that is where merchants who were coming to buy gold, ivory, slaves, and the rest from Africa, as well as spices from other parts of the world, that is where they met. And they brought monies together. And then they will hire a ship, hire a captain of the ship together with the crew, and then put buyers on the ship to go and buy the things from the colonies. They weren't colonies, from
Other countries.
other parts of the world those days. And then when they brought the things back and they sold it, they shared the profits.
Profits, yeah.
So that is where joint stock companies started.
Yeah.
Where the London Stock Exchange is located. And so one thing the capital market also helps us to do is that it enables us to share risk. It enables us to take risk and share the risk. And then after sharing the risk, it gives us the ability to transfer risk. So across where London Stock Exchange is in London, there is a big building called Lloyd's. It was also a coffee house, a coffee shop. So after sharing the risk, they will walk across because it is not every time that they were able to go to Africa or other parts of the world to bring the goods. Sometimes they get shipwrecked and they lose everything. Some of them died. Some of them pirates attacked them. You know, so in order not to lose all their capital, they walk across to
Lloyds.
that. Is not those days there was no laws, but there were a group of people, the nobles and the rest, the rich people. It was their coffee shop.
Yeah.
You know, England used to be a feudal society. You know, so they have this class system.
Yeah.
So the rich, the barons and the rich, the lords and the rest, that was their coffee shop. They would go there and then beg them to buy some of the rich. So they would tell them, okay, if you're able to pay X amount of money, premium, and you incur losses, we'll give you an X amount.
Okay.
So that you don't lose all your capital.
Okay.
So insurance also developed.
Developed
Yes,
alongside the capital
alongside
market.
the capital market. So you see that the financial system is interlinked. We don't have to see it as separate entities, right? So bringing it to Ghana,
But
it was-
initially, there was no stock exchange.
initially there was no stock exchange.
There
So
was no Securities and Exchange
there was no
Commission.
Securities and Exchange Commission. We were just using the old colonial system. You know, instead of thinking of developing industries and the rest, we didn't. You know, in fact, Nkrumah even had an idea of developing it. That was why he developed what we call
The Industrial Area.
Companies Act,
Okay.
1963.
All right.
Act 179, we call it the
yeah,
code.
Yeah.
In the code,
The
there are a
Companies
lot
Code,
of
yeah.
things there that could enable companies to raise capital from the public. I mean, public companies to raise capital from the... Nkrumah started it. But because we had a very weak private sector, he decided to use the state
State funds to develop
industrialize,
those,
to develop. Right. But after Nkrumah, we decided to use the private sector as engine of growth.
Okay.
So as far back as 1971, Dr. K. Ebuzia thought of having a stock exchange in Ghana as far back 1971.
71.
Yes. But because he was
were then
overthrown,
younger.
yes, so there was even an act, 1971, that was passed. And the idea was to privatize some of the state-owned enterprises
Okay.
through the stock exchange. We call that
Exchange.
Accra Stock Exchange
Okay.
Limited. Yeah.
So people can have shares or stake.
Shares,
Or,
stake.
yeah.
Alright.
In other businesses.
Exactly. People can go to the public, raise money, and also list
Yes.
those companies on the stock exchange. But because it was overthrown in 1972 by a champion,
that
everything
thing died off.
died off. Then, during the economic recovery program under...
But who was regulating those things then? Bank of Ghana?
No, those days there was no regulator yet. There was
At
no-
all?
Yeah, it was an idea.
Okay.
Yeah, but because it wasn't implemented, you know, it was not until 1990, when, was it 1980, sorry, during the economic recovery program
Yeah,
under Rawlings,
FinSap.
FinSap, when state-owned enterprises were supposed to be privatized. You know, that's what the whole idea, you know, and listed on the stock exchange. So the Ghana Stock Exchange came into being,
Okay.
you know, as a formal capital market for Ghana. Right. So when it came into being, there was no regulations at all. They were just using the Stock Exchange Act and then the rules of the Stock Exchange to run the market. So it was in 1993 that the PNDC law 333 came into being. That established the Securities and Exchange Commission to oversee the development of the market. Right. Then, but it took a while before SEC came into being. And as the Director General said, it was put under the control or the powers of the governor of the central bank at that time.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then the stock exchange was regulated by Bank of Ghana. They were
in a sense, yes,
overseeing
it in a way. Right, right. But you know, at that time we had banking problems with Ghana.
Yes.
You know,
I remember those times. That was the window 1, window 2 with the forex,
exactly.
foreign exchange problems and all
exactly. We
that.
have banking problems. So the governor and Bank of Ghana were so much
Interested in
the banks,
regulating the banks.
regulating the banks than the capital market. Then if you remember, we had this Piram, the R5 situation, and government came under serious attack. So quickly it was decided that, look, let us separate the SEC activity from the central bank into a single entity so that they can concentrate
and manage
and develop the market. Yeah. That is how SEC came into being. So 1998, SEC came into being. But as I have said, capital market is so crucial to the long-term development of this country, not only for industries. We can't use short-term money, bank money, to develop industries. We can't use short-term money for mortgage loans to develop the housing sector. Yeah. We can't use it for construction. Neither can we use it for infrastructure. We need long-term funds, like pension funds, where, like in Ghana, people retire at the age of 60.
Yeah.
So for about 40 years, this money is available.
Yes.
We call it patient capital.
Yeah.
The insurance companies do the same. It's also patient capital. Life insurance and the rest. It takes time for bad occurrence to happen. So they need a place to invest this money. And it is this money that all of us can tap into. You see, all of us can.
For long-term.
For long-term development. If you want an industry, if you want a factory and other things, you have to tap into this money. It's there for a very long term.
Yeah.
So it gives you enough time to develop, build your factories and the rest. And then if you want to buy raw materials, you can go to the banks and use the money to buy raw materials so that after selling your product, you can go and pay.
Pay off.
Yes.
And that one, it takes a longer period.
Exactly.
So you are not under pressure.
Under pressure.
To pay.
Exactly.
We'll take a short break. Viewers, we'll take a short break. We'll be right back. This program is sponsored by the Securities and Exchange Commission, Dole Yogurt, and Paradise Water. Don't go anywhere. It's been very educative and eye-opening.
What a new way to cool off and quench your thirst. And now everyone is enjoying the surprising experience of Paradise Park treated drinking water.
Hi.
Join the refreshing experience and enjoy the all-new Paradise Park treated drinking water. Paradise Park treated drinking water. Drink pure, live more. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
Welcome back, and thanks for watching Time with Your Banker and Financial Advisor, sponsored by the Securities and Exchange Commission, Dole Yogurt, and Paradise Water. Yeah, you were talking about mismatch.
Correct.
Tapping into long-term investment rather than short-term investment. Yes.
Right. Yeah, it's true. So when you look at Ghana, the industrial structure, most of the companies we have in this country are overgeared.
That's
overgearing
true.
With too much debt than equity.
They are overtrading.
Overtrading in banking in terms.
That's our banking term.
Banking terms. Overgeared. So our companies or the private sector is extremely weak. There's no way we can compete with the imports coming from China.
That is true.
Because Chinese companies are using long-term capital to produce.
So their prices are moderate.
Moderate.
And because we are using short-term, interest rates are on the higher side.
They are killing the industry.
That is it.
That is it. They are weak.
Because the interest rates some are as high as 36 to 40%.
40%, that's right.
How do you break even?
No, you can't develop an economy like that.
With such high interest rates.
No way. There's no way this economy can develop until we put a stop to it. And we need to encourage them to use equity capital. That is what most of the multinationals you see here. They don't use bank loans just like that. They use equity capital. Most of them are listed across many exchanges. So they're able to get access to long-term funding
at a minimal rate.
Exactly.
And because it's long-term funding, there is nobody chasing you for payment within 2-3 years and stretching you to break you down.
Exactly. No, what is true about equity capital is that you don't pay back. It's not a loan.
It's not a loan. The person has an ownership.
Yeah. You don't have. So all that you do is that when you make profits, you declare portion of it maybe as dividend.
And then you pay.
You pay back. And that is even not compulsory. It is when you think you can really share some of the profits with them that you declare dividend to pay.
But it's not fair if somebody has to put their monies down for long term.
Yeah.
And you take it and not give that person anything.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that is very, very true.
Okay.
Because you need to win the trust of the public.
Yeah.
One thing is that money, if not with the banks, is with the public.
That is
and
true.
this is the kind of money companies must go for, money belonging to the public. And institutions, some institutions or companies make profits. The money, they can't put the money down. The money can't be idle. So they must have a way of investing into the capital market.
But if Ghanaians get this notion that the equity funds are funds that you are not supposed to pay, but you are supposed to be paying dividends on, knowing Ghanaians, they will not even declare any dividend. Right. Because when you save, you need to invest it. Yeah. And when you invest, you need to get some returns on it. Right. So you end up giving out your hard-earned savings to businesses and get nothing. Yeah. And that is why those people will rather put their monies with treasury bills or with the banks and get something to live on.
That is very right. You see, entrepreneurs need to be educated. If you do this, the market will call something that the market will punish you. Because there's something we call rights issue. If you do that and you want money, they won't give you their money as an ongoing concern.
Yeah, a going concern.
You need money every time. You see? So wisdom will tell you that you don't have to maltreat the investors. That is where we talk about corporate governance, but not now. We'll be talking about it. How entrepreneurs should treat their investors. You know, if you look at Microsoft, they have thousands of investors that have given their monies to Microsoft. Microsoft, Apple, and the rest, they couldn't have been where they are today without investors' funds or help.
But they are paying those people good money in return.
Exactly. You have to be transparent and pay them good
Because recently
returns.
somebody called me that he has an investment. He bought some shares. I don't want to mention that company's name here on air.
That's right.
And for the past 10 years, I think 10 to 15 years, nothing has been given to her.
Which is bad. It means the company is punishing itself.
She even wants to sell the shares, and it is of no value.
That is true. You see, the fact is that is why SEC is here to educate not just investors, but issuers as well, the companies as well. That if they do not treat their shareholders well, nobody will help them.
So when she called, it was so painful. Yeah. Because she kept complaining and complaining. So I asked her to go to NTHC.
That's right.
And then speak with some brokers or something.
To
because she said that was when she told me that she's even approached them, and they said that that particular share has no value.
It's interesting. You see.
Yet the company is operational.
Is it listed on the stock exchange?
It's listed on the stock exchange.
They are doing themselves a great harm. That is the bottom line. In fact, I have been to China. If you go to China, the stock exchange, they play it like gambling. Because the companies are very truthful to the shareholder, because they know that it is the shareholders who made the companies thrive. That is it. So when you go to China, it's like gambling. And because of that, everybody wants a share to buy. Everybody wants shares to buy. That is why Chinese companies are getting stronger and stronger. Because they are treating their shareholders well. And I think we need to educate them. That is why the SEC is there. And we are going to mount serious education about some of these things.
What initiative has the SEC taken to develop the security market since its inception?
Right. We've done a lot under the quiet. You know, you can never develop a strong capital market without good legal and regulatory framework. It's very, very important. If you want foreign investors to come and play ball on your market, then your legal regulatory framework should be good and transparent. So from day one, we developed regulations like our LI 1728 that requires issuers of capital, those who want money from the public, to disclose everything about themselves, about the company.
Okay.
Right? And also publish regular accounts.
That one
Regular
by law,
accounts,
you
by
should.
law.
But most companies qualify their accounts. I don't know.
And they don't want to publish accounts.
They don't want
it's against the law, and I
It's-
think this time we are going to be very strict on this. No company has any right not to publish accounts. It is mandatory.
Yeah.
You know, our company law has both mandatory and permissive provisions. But publication of accounts has a time limit within 18 months. You should publish accounts.
your account.
It is a shall provision. You have no right. And I think even shareholders should hold directors and management responsible to account. They shouldn't sit there.
So it's mandatory.
Yes, it is mandatory. And accounts is not just for shareholders, it's also for potential investors who would like to invest into the company.
You were saying something interesting,
Yeah.
that whether the company is doing well or not.
It is mandatory on them to publish accounts.
Okay.
Because accounts is not just for the company, it's also for shareholders to know how the company
And
is doing. And prospective shareholders or investors.
Yeah.
And also even for the regulator, even for the tax authorities. You see? So account is not meant for just an entity. It's very, very crucial. And if a company wants to attract capital, they must be transparent and publish accounts.
Okay.
Without that, they cannot attract capital.
Okay.
You'll be surprised that most of the companies, whatever, that collapse. I don't want to mention names here recently, even the banking sector.
Yeah.
Failed to publish accounts for 2-3 years.
More than 2-3 years.
And do they expect shareholders to put their money in a company that they don't know?
They don't even know what is going on there.
What is going on there?
No annual general meeting called. Nothing.
You know, it means they are shooting. It's a shot in their own leg.
Yes.
And they can't do that. You can't afford to operate in a business environment with that attitude. So I think Ghana as a whole must, be up to the task of operating transparently. It is wrong for business people to think that this company is mine, so I can do whatever I like.
It's not yours.
It's not yours.
It's people's money.
Yes.
That you are trading with.
Exactly. And even legally speaking, you don't own the company. The company is
But
a
it's
legal
entity.
Legal entity.
Separated from the owners.
Exactly. And this, many of them don't know. People just operate businesses. So we
Thinking
have a lot
that
of,
because he has 10,000 Ghana and he started with it, that
so
is
it belongs to him.
It is not.
It doesn't
it is
belong
not
to him.
your business.
Exactly.
You are a different person from
the company.
because the company is its own human being.
Exactly.
And it is ongoing. It will
Ongoing.
surprise you that your company will even outlive you.
Exactly. That is it. And I think this is what most Ghanaians don't know, and we need to educate all entrepreneurs. In fact, right from schools, so that when they come into business, they can do the right thing and compete equally with the rest of the world. That is what we need for this country.
It's rather unfortunate. The discussion is becoming interesting.
Yes.
Yet our time is up.
Right.
It's rather unfortunate.
Sorry.
So can you make it again next week?
No problem.
So that we can complete what we have started.
Exactly.
And thank you for coming.
Thank you
We
for the
expect to see
opportunity.
you next week.
Thank you.
Viewers, this is where we'll end today's program. Thanks for watching Time with Your Banker and Financial Advisor, sponsored by the Securities and Exchange Commission, Dole Yogurt, and Paradise Water. See you again, same time next week.